Hi guys, Song of Strife, aka the season is now underway, and something that you guys may have probably been looking for is a new Dream Realm Lone Gaze guide. Now I want to go over the wolf's skills real quick. This is similar to, if not the exact same wolf that we were all fighting as a world boss, but let's get into it. First and foremost, the Lone Gaze wolf has the ability to go into the mist, and you can attack him for a second, but like technically speaking, he can dodge a little bit. He does summon wolf packs to attack enemies that have mist around them, which is basically all your allies. And then after the mist, he also has a charge towards the farthest attack, a charge towards the farthest target, apologies, and he summons wolves to also attack them at the exact same time. But you'll notice that the targeting for this is actually the farthest target when the mist exists. That will be very important for the next section and for the team that I'm going to be recommending if you are able to have it. Otherwise, that's okay. Furthermore, as you can see here, he does also deal damage twice within a one tile arc, and then he does deal damage to enemies within one tile, and he does have an interruption effect, but I don't know how important that is. If you have someone that I guess has really bad timing, the interruption effect is quite bad, or if it is on your healer, it can be quite annoying as well. But as you'll see with our positioning, this will not really be too much of a problem. The final ability that Lone Gaze has is that he gains stat boost when he defeats a non-summoned enemy. So, okay, basically if he gets one shot, or if any of your allies get one shot, he gains stats. Now, I want to show you exactly what team I ended up using. Just because of the way that the kit and the skills of the character appear to be, and that's a team that involves Reiner. However, before we get into the Reiner composition, I do want to point out that just using someone like Marilee, I found my damage to be about the same or pretty equivalent. I did end up putting Smokey up in the front just because I want to, heal everyone in the entire team, and Marilee kind of moves around, and sometimes I think on one or two occasions she's not received the heal, but generally speaking she should be fine. And then finally I have just the goats of Dream Realm, which is really going to always be Odie, Thorin, and Coco to deal out damage, to reduce the defense or to increase damage on the boss, and also buff up the team. So without further ado, let me show you what I consider to be the more free-to-play option. I get it, having Thorin, having Smokey is maybe not as free-to-play, and also, to be clear, you do need to have decently high investment in Odie and Marilee in order to perform well. However, as it stands right now, I do think that any variation, including a damage dealer... Oh, I just realized I swapped over to a different form. I actually just ended up beating the Lone Gaze form right before this, and lo and behold, my first run in, I'm gonna have to move things around. Formerly, I didn't actually take enough damage to make it really concerning for my Smokey up in the front, but I might have to move him around now. But that team that you were just looking at was literally what helped me do 120 mil prior to this, and even before that, I was getting close to, if not beating, the same score. But without Thorin, or instead of Thorin, or rather Marilee here, I had a Reiner who actually pushed or threw the Odie into the front line. We'll see how it goes now. It looks like the boss just got an insane amount of damage onto him. Wow, that is really crazy. I don't think I recall the Lone Gaze ever doing this much damage. Thankfully, I've got the healing up now, so I guess an adjustment that you'll now have to make, assuming that you are... assuming that you make it to the next tier of the boss, is literally just holding your damage dealers in the front. I mean, he is absolutely slaughtering me this time around, and I wish I could show you what happened before, because prior to this, the team that I'd run was did more than enough damage and tanked more than enough damage to not get one shot. But I'm just kind of getting gapped, as you know, and as I'm sure you're familiar with. When you get to the next tier of the character, you don't nearly take as much damage, or you don't do nearly as much damage, and you also take more damage in general. I'm going to move and try to move the Marilee around as well, just because wow, I'm kind of baffled. I cannot believe how much damage I am now taking from this boss. I will try and use the season artifact as well, but I'm kind of mad because I had prepared the showcase to kind of show off how you can do like 120 million damage, and that did a lot of damage for the first iteration. I will say that having Reiner does also reduce the damage dealt by the Lone Gaze, the Wolf. However, if you do end up having to run a tank composition or a 2 tank or 2 support composition instead of someone like Reiner, that could also work. Instead of Marilee, I could definitely end up using someone like Ramadani or Huan, though it will definitely feel a little bit better, so we'll see if a character like Rowan is better. And I mean, actually, as you can see right now, Reiner is kind of just the GOAT here, right? I'm doing literally 100 million damage now to this guy. But yeah, so if you do have Reiner at Mythic Plus, increasing the damage dealt of the target that you zoop on into the back, or that you move on into the back, or of the target of the character that you put associated with Reiner, or that's going to be moving with Reiner, is really nice. But if you don't have him at Mythic Plus because he's Celestial, that's very understandable, and that's why I would probably recommend putting the another healer, whether that's Huan, whether that's Rowan, or someone in between, in his place. Okay, so I did 158 million, and if you guys have this composition, feel free to use that. I got to rank 11 on my server, although it is kind of early, and to be clear, I do think it'll get better once I get higher gear for the season challenge. But I am now going to see how the how my performance goes if I have a double healer composition instead of a double DPS composition. Now, again, to be clear, Rowan is someone that a lot of people should have. If you were playing at the start of the game, or I'm pretty sure if you have played the game, you are slotted or guaranteed to get a healer, some form of healer, on your 30th or your second set of pulls. Thankfully, oh my goodness, my Odie survived. I should probably have put a healer or something in the backline, but Odie thankfully is surviving here. I'm doing 27 million damage, 30 million here. And this is, as you saw before, an insanely difficult kind of starting point again, because now I've reset my damage, or I've reset how much damage I should be doing to the boss because it gets harder. I'm now on common 2 instead of common 1. But it looks like Rowan is actually keeping my team healthy and topped up, which is fine. If you don't also have Odie, I would definitely recommend Marilee in place of Odie. But as you can see, we're doing 83 million now. That's pretty good damage. I'm close to dying, but not quite dying, so try to invest or try to include characters that, of course, won't die. But I do think that having a triple support and tank composition looks pretty good. Something to note as well, if you are going to be using something like Brutus, he is a little bit worse off in situations like this, because Brutus kind of, though he can kind of survive for 1 or 2 hits, or maybe 5 or 6 seconds, after the fact, he kind of just gets one shot. But yeah, so as you could see, the damage here was great. The healing was absolutely ridiculous between the Coco, the Smokey, and the Rowan. And of course, I did 60 million damage with Odie. I'm going to do one last run to show you an iteration that works alongside Marilee instead of Odie. However, of course, my damage is most overloaded, or I have most investment in my Odie. He is Supreme Plus, and of course, he is going to be the GOAT for this then. That being said, though, we still have a good oh. He just one-shot my Marilee. Maybe I shouldn't put him in the back. Maybe I have to move Marilee out from the back. That was awkward. And also, Lilith, for some reason, you don't let us run out the timer or leave when things are dead, but my characters are all dead. Why do I have to start this? Anyways, I'm going to move Marilee one more time to see if it is a little bit more effective. Maybe don't put this character. Maybe don't put this character all the way like that. How does that sound? Okay, so we share the ties of damage towards the Smokey, and now Smokey is going to be the one that gets hit. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Smokey or Marilee is not one shot here. Oh, 1 second. Okay. All right. Smokey ended up dying. But of course, my investment in Smokey Sorry, not Smokey. The Marilee team is going to be a little bit worse off. I do think that the damage that I deal would be much better, of course, if I had Marilee at plus 20 like before. But this is what I have, or this is what I have instead. I could also try using a character like Cecia. However, I do think that having Cecia for content like this is going to always be worse, because Cecia is specifically more for climbing, maybe even more so for arena. More AoE damage, I think, does pretty good, or has greater value for Cecia, whereas for Marilee, she does true damage. I do believe Marilee is slated to get nerfed, or she might have already been nerfed. I'm not quite sure yet, but let's change this, and let's put Cecia in the back, and let's see how much damage it does now. Hopefully, my Cecia doesn't get one-shots. She's also Supreme Plus, and historically, Right, well... Okay, well, once again, it would appear as though Curse of the Backline is terrible, and he also crit me, so this is a little bit unfortunate. Of course, if you have a higher seasons level than I do, this would look a little bit better, but this is what I encountered. Actually, this is still kind of going decently well. This is 25 million damage here. Not bad. Not bad, honestly. I literally don't have a damage dealer, and I just have Rowan and Thorn as my solo DPS. It really is just like that first hit that I think is like a bit too criminal. At least for once you get into common 2, or once you start pushing beyond your level. From what I can tell, again, it does feel like whether or not you survive is going to be based on whether he crits or not. The crit was doing something like, I think the crit that we just saw did like way over any of my DPS's health. So I guess it'll just come down to whether or not my supports get one shot. But 70 million? Wait, 70 million? Oh, I can't even look at it. Oh, all right. Oh, well. In any case, though, guys, you have a couple of options there. Rowan, Coco, Smokey, I think are definitely going to be core for this boss. I think that the best DPS is going to be Odie. However, if you do want to push back or pull the Reiner in for more damage dealt and also less damage done by the boss, feel free to do so. However, that's going to be my guide for Lone Gaze. I apologize. Didn't really think that the jump from Common 1 to Common 2 was literally going to blitz me on impact, but we eventually got to the team that ended up working. Thank you again for watching, though, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. Thank you again for supporting the channel and all the AFK Journey content. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.